it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is
Trae.
the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to The Day with Trae. I am your host, Deontay, stepping in for Trae this week. Now, before we begin, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Converge Media. You'll learn more about The Day with Trae, clapback culture, back to Besa, Seattle News and Brews, and more. Go to whereweconverge.com to learn more. We have an amazing show today. We have branch leader of Movement Mortgage, Jessica Talton, to talk to us more about what's happening out there in Kent, and we got an opening coming up. We also have Zenovia Harris, CEO of Zenovia Harris LLC, who's going to talk to us about the movements that she's making and how you can support the efforts out there in Kent and South King. So, let's get started. I'm just so happy to have this guest here. This guest and I grew up together, and just seeing her making movements with movements and mortgages. Jessica Talton.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I am so happy to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit more about being a branch leader over there, out there in Kent?
Yeah, so I've been in the mortgage industry now for 11 years, 15 years in the finance business, and we are just out here serving our community, making a change, bridging gaps with home ownership in the Black and brown community.
Yeah, and how did you get started in that?
Oh, so honestly, it stemmed from a personal experience with my family, my mom, and our family home. I remember I was off at college and my mom had a variable interest rate mortgage, and we just didn't come from a background of being educated around credit, mortgages, things like that. And there was a need, and I wasn't able to help. I didn't have the answers to her questions, and I didn't want that to ever be the case. And so I wanted to get educated. So I went and got a job at the bank while I was in college, started out on the teller line and worked my way up to leadership, and then hopped over to mortgage.
See, and that is amazing, let alone like coming back home, right?
Yeah.
And being able to make that move.
Yeah.
And you're out in a predominantly BIPOC area, right?
Yeah.
And you've been navigating community members to getting a house and continuing that legacy. What does that look like? What are some of the tips that you can give us?
So I just tell people to get educated, get informed. We host a lot of home buyer education classes. That's a good opportunity for people to show up and ask the questions. Home ownership is way easier to achieve than people think. And so it's just about raising your hand to say that you're interested and reaching out to resources like myself to get the help. We're here to serve.
Yeah. And what does that navigation look like? Can you walk us through?
So basically, the first step is to have a consultation or show up to a home buyer class. We kind of walk through your credit, where you are, where you want to be, put together a game plan to get you there if you're not already approved. We issue a pre-approval letter and connect you with one of our realtor partners, and you kind of start your home search.
Yeah. And what are some of the advice that you can give? Give me 5 tips. Because I'm gonna need about 10, but for community folks,
Right.
5 tips on like what are the best processes to go about that?
So reaching out will be the first.
Okay.
And the second is to get your credit reviewed, because that's typically the biggest thing that holds people back, feeling like they need to have this perfect credit score.
I have mine's is near 6.
Hey,
Star community, I'm just saying.
Hey.
But could I do it?
we have programs that start out with as low as a 580 credit score. So there's something for everyone, right? And we are really good and intentional about meeting people where they are. So we don't expect you to walk in the doors ready and prepared. That's our jobs, to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, just reviewing the credit. And then when we put together a game plan and roadmap, just stay on that game plan and roadmap and reach out when you're in a hard space or you just need some encouragement, because we also give that out too. And then just be vulnerable and be honest about your concerns and your fears so that we can help you navigate through those.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And let alone Black women leading, you
Yeah.
managing and helping community.
Yes.
Being someone that's grown up out here in King County, and you grew up with a lot of these community folks who are now parents and
Right.
now have families of their own, how does that feel to be working with some of those folks that you grew up with and navigating them into housing?
It
Their
feels
own house.
it feels like I finally found my purpose in life. You know how I've always felt like I was here for something bigger than myself and the basic thing. And I feel like when I get to serve people I grew up with and help them accomplish goals that are going to change their whole family dynamic, I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose in life. And
Yeah.
so it's the biggest privilege that I could ask for.
And it's appreciated.
Thank you.
And now here we're in Kent, and I keep on hearing some rumblings in community. What's happening May 18th?
May 18th, Saturday, May 18th, we have our grand opening, and it's going to be from 12 to 3 p.m. and the ribbon cutting at 1 p.m.
Okay. How exciting is that to be like right there in Kent? I feel like a lot of them are community folks
Yep.
that have been gentrified, which is
Yeah.
another special
Whole other
but
conversation.
out there in Kent,
Yes.
and being able to open it up there. What does that look like for you?
It was very intentional. I didn't want to be in an office building hidden away. I wanted a storefront where community knew where to find us. They saw us, and they knew that they had a space that they were welcome in. No matter where they were in life, they always have a space they can come just stop by to say hi, come get a bottle of water, hang out with us. But I wanted to make sure that we had visibility,
Yeah.
and we continue to show up. You'll see us hosting different events through the holidays. We don't care about money, any of that sort of stuff. Come as you are. Our goal is just to provide a safe space for community.
Yeah, and that's what you've been doing.
Thank
Now,
you.
before we go, I do have to ask you two more questions.
Yeah.
Mother's Day is in the next couple of days.
Yes.
You are a mother, two
Yes.
beautiful children, and your mother. So
Yes.
what does this day mean to you?
For me, it's a day to honor my mom because I do a lot of working, right? And so it's a day to just take a little bit of a break and just be present with my kids, my mom, because tomorrow's not promised. And so just taking those special days off to just be with family and be present.
Okay, you better be present.
Yes.
Okay. Well, do me a favor, Jess. Please look in the camera and let community know about your event and where community can find you.
Yes, so you can find me at Movement Mortgage, Kent Station. And I hope that you join us on May 18th, Saturday, from 12 to 3 p.m., 1 p.m. ribbon cutting to celebrate our grand opening.
Girl, that was good.
Thank you.
Do you have a website or where people can find you?
Yes, www.teamtalton.com.
Okay, I know that's right, Team Talton. And I
Yeah.
hope you have a fabulous Mother's Day,
Thank
and we
you.
appreciate you here at
I
Converge.
appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and when we come back, we got Zenovia Harris. You are watching The Day with Trae.
Here on Back to Basics, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Basics journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities.
Let's start the show.
Ballet's greatest comedy, Coppelia, returns to Pacific Northwest Ballet. Perfect for all ages, Coppelia delights with dazzling dancing and magnificent music played by the PNB Orchestra. Seven performances only. Visit pnb.org for tickets.
And we're back with The Day with Trae. I am so happy today to have my next guest. When we talk about women leading, she is a woman who leads, and I'm just so happy. For the first time here in Black Media Matters Studio, Zenovia Harris.
Hey, how you doing, Deanna?
I am doing great. I am just so happy to have you. The work that you have been putting in. Today's a South King County Day. It's like, but the work
Yeah.
that you have been putting in South King County is something that needs to be highlighted.
Yeah.
I've always been in awe of your work. So thank you for blessing us and coming in today.
Yeah.
So Zenovia Harris, LLC.
Yes.
Tell us more about that for community members who aren't familiar.
Who aren't familiar, well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm so excited. Zenovia Harris LLC is about me at my core. I am a woman of many talents, many struggles, many triumphs, and I think that naming my organization after myself allows me to do what it is that I want to do. Do I want to go and speak to girls? I'm going to go and do that because I'm Zenovia Harris. Do I want to be an entrepreneur? I'm going to do that under Zenovia Harris. Do I want to lead the chamber as the only Black CEO for a Chamber of Commerce here in Washington? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that as Zenovia Harris. So that is Zenovia and all the hats that I wear. I want to showcase who I am.
And let's unpack one of many of those, right?
Yeah.
The chamber.
Yes.
There is something. One, you said being the only Black woman to be the chair of a chamber, right?
Yes.
That is a big deal. But the movement that you were able to make with the chamber, especially during the 2020, you used to. There were so many divides that were happening. How were you able to navigate through that?
Well, first it was hard, right? That's the first thing. It was a difficult process, but what led me to be able to do it was my support for my community and what I wanted us to look like when we were done with that.
Yeah.
I knew that that wasn't going to last forever, right? And so running the chamber right now, currently sitting as the only Black CEO of a chamber, my experience has been different. There's a lot of gatekeeping in the world in which I live, right? There's a lot of gatekeeping. So my job is to figure out, how do I get this information to the people who really need it, right? And a chamber in its essence really is like a membership-based organization. I'm trying to figure out, how do we make a space for everybody where membership might be a barrier? So every time I'm going into a situation, I'm looking at it from an equity lens, right? And even with the chamber from an equity lens, what can we do as a chamber to make sure that I'm supporting businesses and meeting them where they are?
And especially in Kent, right?
Yeah.
We think about Kent and people don't think about how industrial the area is, right? And you being able to create that space. And then one thing that's different that I love about the chamber out there in Kent is how much support the relationships that you've been able to build with the people that are in office.
Yeah. So my relationship with our legislators are all out of respect, right? They respect me. They know when I'm walking through the door, number one, I want to focus on how are we getting this to the most businesses. All my decisions are utilitarian decisions, and the mayor knows that. Dana and I have coffee every month, and we talk about, Zenovia, what does this look like from an equity lens? Maybe we missed that, right? And so I appreciate that relationship with her to be able to do that. All of my local legislators, we sit down and talk. We just had Adam Smith in for a roundtable, and I'm asking real questions. And I'm trying to figure out, what is this doing for us as a whole, as the community? And it's always, every question, every conversation is rooted in exactly that. How is this going to affect the most vulnerable people? And you think about entrepreneurship and businesses, and you don't typically hear people say businesses are underserved or underprivileged. Well, that's just not the truth. Access is limited to some people. And my job is to create better ways for that access.
And we love that. And access, you do, right? And you said that in the beginning, like, talking to young girls, right? Tell us about some of that work.
Yeah, so I have been, and in Kent, just so we know, this is the 8th most ethnically diverse city in the U.S., according to Wallet Hub. So this is a very diverse community. There's over 100 languages within the school. Like, it is a lot going on in Kent. So for me as a Black woman, when people walk into my office or I go into the school and I start to say that I'm a CEO, just being able to see the young girls like, oh, I can do that. That can be me. I can be that person, right? So I'm always in the school. We've got a really great program going in through Kent School District right now, where for the very first time, the administrator said, this is the most ethnically diverse career fair we've ever had.
Wow.
I brought in small businesses, I brought in musicians, I brought in notaries, I brought in all Black and brown, white, everything that you can think of on every spectrum to make sure that kids know wherever you are, you have a place in this world, even in entrepreneurship. And so that's a great relationship that I have with Israel, who is or Dr. Vela, I should say, who is the superintendent of schools there at Kent School District. I've always been an avid volunteer. volunteer. So I volunteered for many nonprofits. I volunteered for Boys and Girls Club, for Katie Hall Foundation. I mean, you name it, I am there, because at my core, I'm still that broken 7-year-old girl who lost her mother.
Yeah.
So what I can do is show up for people and show them that there is another option. Sometimes that's all you have to see, is that there's another option. And I'm proud and glad to be that option for other people.
Absolutely. And creating space and
Creating space.
constantly growing, but also creating that space where everyone is included in it, right? And that is, I wanted to also ask, like, how did you get, like, what made you go into, I guess, and I'm saying choosing yourself, because you could be a CEO of any other organization and do that. But what made you choose you?
Yeah. So this is the thing. When I saw the job posting for the chamber, right, I said, who goes from being a manager at a college to being a CEO of a chamber? Me, right? So I get on the phone and I'm calling all my girlfriends and I'm like, listen, should I do this? You know, this is the space that it's in. It's a little political, you know, all of that. So I called out what I call my executive board of directors, my own friends, people that are going to tell me the truth about the decisions I'm getting ready to make. Anytime I make a big decision, I call on those people, right? So I looked at it as, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I found out at a young age I was really good at sales. Then I figured, well, if I can sell for somebody else, I can sell for myself. So I sell real estate, notary, all of these different things. So I want to be true to who I am. And the chamber at its core is about building entrepreneurship. That is who I am.
Yeah.
I've been able to survive because of my entrepreneurial spirit. That is what has got me there. Yes, I have degrees. Yes, I've had good jobs. But at the end of the day, any gap that I had, I fill that with an entrepreneurship role.
Yeah. And I love that. And, you know, all this pouring in, you fill it in, but you also fill people up. So for anybody that's watching, what's some advice that you can give? And I really want to pertain this to young Black women in our community. What advice would you give to them?
Fill yourself up first. Fill yourself up first before you go about filling up other people, right? People are supposed to get your overflow. They're not supposed to get your cup. They're to get your overflow. So that's what I would say for me. I built a lot of friendships in my early 20s. I built a lot of friendships around giving. And then when I needed something, I was like searching for it, right? And when you're searching for that, you're getting into bad relationships, bad friendships, all of these things. So I think it's very important to, number one, build your confidence and give people your overflow. Do not give them your cup. That is for you. Yeah.
I'm going to have to, let me
That
take that down.
Overflow.
I think you gave me that advice before, but yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And what are some of the things that we can look forward from the chamber coming up?
Yeah, so I'm so excited. So for the last couple of years, we've been in survival mode, right? And now what I'm doing is looking at the landscape of businesses. I've been at the chamber 5 years. The increase of diverse businesses who have joined the chamber, what it says to me is I have to now figure out, what do those businesses need? There's no mistake that these businesses are coming to me. I'm not doing this campaign, all businesses of color come into the Kent Chamber. Just me being there is enough. But now that I'm there and I've invited them into this space, now I have to create things. So we are so excited. We're going to be doing Resource Fridays, and we're going to have someone in there doing marketing, a lawyer sitting there. We're going to have a variety of different business owners that are going to be there to mentor, teach, and lead. And then that way the small businesses can come and we'll meet them where they are. It'll be online and it'll be there as well. I have a 10-step program, and it's called the Start to Scale program that I'm running through the chamber. So as a business, if all you have is a name or an idea, we will take you through these 10 steps. And by the time you walk out the door, hopefully you'll have a business with funding and options. And then of course we have our business expo coming up on Thursday on May 9th. And so that's a really great event. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
I'm hearing all these different pockets of just access that community members can have. And I thank you so much. Because I think that one of the things that you do, is you're really not looking back from 2020 and moving forward and taking everybody with you. And I think that we can learn a lot from what's going on there, and partly because of your leadership.
I appreciate that.
That is like a big deal.
Yeah. Listen, I received that, right? I received that. There was a point in my time where I said, oh, no, it's because of community. No, I'm putting in work.
Yeah.
I'm putting in long hours. I'm putting in work, and making those connections with people is what's really important, and figuring out and sitting down. The same thing that you do.
Yeah.
Sit down, talk to people, figure out how you can be of service to them.
Right.
And so I am bringing people along with me, but this isn't a free ride. Everything you learn, you're supposed to then turn around and give it as well. So everyone knows that. That's how I run.
That's how we run.
That's how we do
Okay.
it.
So before we get out of here,
Yeah.
I just need you to do me a favor. Look in the camera, let community know where they can find you and where they can support.
Of course. So you can find all things Kent Chamber at www.kentchamber.com. Again, I do want to do a shout out for our Regional Business Expo coming up on Thursday, the 9th of May. So that's tomorrow. Thursday, the 9th of May. Make sure that you come by, check it out. And then as far as Zenovia is concerned, you can go to zenoviaharris.com and check out what I'm doing. Do you need a keynote speaker, an MC? Do you need someone to come in and lead your equity work? I would be the one to be able to do that.
And you do that.
I do that.
And before we get out of here, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for creating space for all of our people and all of your friends, all of your people.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly appreciate you and what you are doing for South King County.
Well, I appreciate you. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll be back with The Day with Trae.
The importance to share the history of the Buffalo Soldiers of Seattle and Buffalo Soldiers of everywhere, including cowboys and cowgirls of color everywhere, is really important because most likely they're forgotten. It's important that they're acknowledged, especially for girls like me who look up to them.
At a rodeo, it's got an impact on people when they see somebody doing something like that, especially a person of color, you know what I mean? It's got a big impact on people, I think.
Representing the Evergreen State, I am your Miss Teen Rodeo Washington, Jessica Thomas. Welcome to the Windswept Farm.
What a day, y'all. I was just so blessed today. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Zenovia. And thank you, community. Did you hear what was going on out there in Kent? We need to support our South King folks, y'all. Tune in tomorrow. I'll be here. You need to be here too. The Day with Trae. Have a good day.
Goodness gracious.
Girl,
Yeah.
that was good.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.